What's up, everyone? Kaijin Okami here with
Cruellica Kain. Hi!
and
then we have Abbott Nebula. Then we have Silver Quill, who you haven't seen in like a year, it feels like. And then Chrysalid Bloodborne. I promise you, I have enough stuffed animals to fill the couch with all of our friends who cannot see. I promise I don't talk to them like I would my friends. Okay, so
anyway,
conversation.
We are going to, well, since we came to
Wow, that was a great sentence.
What?
We are going to, well, since.
Yeah, since we came to the realization we haven't done a Kiramager coverage video since episode 2. Well, no, it's because of COVID, really.
Oh, well, no, I agree.
We're going to basically make this video a mid-year review of, or mid-year discussion of Kiramager with just the two of us, because we're the only ones that have been watching it, since everyone else has been in their own distant land, far away, over the last 3 centuries that we have been sitting in this quarantine for.
The quarantine has been for 6 months.
Yes, 100 years, I agree.
Actually, it's been for almost exactly 6 months now. Just over exact.
6 billion years.
Okay, nevertheless, for this mid-year discussion / review / us talking, I figured what we'd do, rather than going episode by episode, because there's a lot of episodes, we'd first kind of go in the theme of what Kaiju normally does, and first talk about the characters. The heroes. I'm gonna mimic the hell out of you.
Okay, let's see how well you do.
Oh, I'm terrible at this.
Just do it. Come on, we're on a limited time.
The heroes. So, we start with the 5 Rangers, which sadly you won't be able to see pictures because somebody doesn't want to edit. So the first Ranger that you have is Kiramager Red, or Jiro Atsuta. So he's he's a high school age ranger. He is basically a very sensitive soul, likes to do a lot of art, drawing, very creative. He has a lot of imagination. Thank gods, though, his insparkleization.
It's not every episode.
Oh, yes. I was very scared after watching 1 and 2.
That's what he was going to be known for.
Basically, he was going to be Yoshino Lucky. And I really did not want to have a series, again, where the character basically does the catchphrase every episode.
Sometimes multiple times an episode, and is very, very annoying. Fortunately, Jiro is actually pretty tame despite being a kid character, and it works.
I really like it because it reminds me of going back to like Maji Ranger, where the red was Kai, because he was high school age as well, the youngest of the family, which if you kind of look at it as a familial type aspect, he's the youngest here as well.
Only Jiro is actually tame compared to Kai.
Well, yes, but it's demonstrating that maturity level once again for the characters. And showing that, yes, he's the youngest, yes, he's kind of the most immature, but he also takes responsibility for his actions as well. The next character we have, numero 2, even though his mech wants him to be number 1, is Kiramager Yellow, or Tametomo Imizu. He is the what's it called? An ex-gamer?
Esports gamer.
Esports gamer.
Yeah, esports player or whatever, esports fanatic.
So he's basically a celebrity who, well, he's a gamer who is somehow turned into a celebrity because he plays so many games. This was not a thing when we were like teenagers. If it was, I think you would be that.
But I have to say, he's probably he right now is my favorite of the Rangers.
Same here.
He's gotten a lot of growth. I really love the stuff they do, especially when you had his Jewel dude, the mech, trying to rebel against Red Juru and trying to have all the other mechs sign up with him. So then he had to use the gamer monster, his joystick, to control Red.
Yes. Which I thought was incredibly done because they really know how to play off of each other very well. And he is the strategic one of the group.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes up with these like creative plans. But for me, it feels like he doesn't come up with them like you were talking about when you were complaining. I think about Time Ranger. How the one ranger who's like scientific will come up with a...
No, it wasn't Time Ranger. It was, well, a lot of series do that, where the ranger just comes up with the idea to counter the villain right off the...
And while he does in a way, it actually makes sense because he's a gamer. So you see him almost doing gamification throughout the show. So the third ranger is Kiramager Sena Hayami. Yes, I could say that name without issue. And she is, I would say she's probably either high school age as well, like senior in high school or first year college.
She might be the runner-up for my favorite character.
Ha!
And that's how you know it's not Aruto!
So Senna is, she's also celebrity? It kind of feels like Danganronpa level of celebrity, that these are like high school age or high school perfect, whatever. So she is the runner of the series. So she is the, basically I feel like she's a sports fanatic.
I did like the episode with her friend with the little, with those, the poem thing where you had to match them up.
Oh, yes, it was like a matching game. The only time I actually knew of this game was in Nanbaka.
Well, Nanbaka did it, Gal Ranger, or...
Well, I don't
Gal Ranger or Hurricane, I think it might have been Hurricaneer actually that did it.
I don't remember Hurricaneer doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
It might have, I'm pretty sure it was Hurricaneer, but it might have been Gal Ranger.
So it's a Japanese game where you have different pieces of a, like, phrase.
And you have to match them up.
Yeah, it's a very interesting matching game, and I love matching games, but I think that one might be out of my realm. Then we have Kirame Blue, or Shigure Oshikiri.
The actor.
The actor, who we've seen before in Garo, so he's not completely new.
I did like the episode with the fangirl of his, where she just starts stalking him, and or we also had, what was it, the episode where he had the thing on his head, the jack.
Oh yes, where he tried to act with it. So with Shiguru, I think the most interesting thing about this particular character is he has the typical ego you have for an actor. He has the drive, like he really is like almost Jared Leto, or who's the other actor who's like super, super method?
Well, there's Christian Bale, there's
Well, Christian Bale is probably a better actor. So he's like Christian Bale level of into his character. He will get into it. But it almost feels like when he's not acting as a character, he's very awkward, which is normal for most actors. Socially awkward, unsure of how to act in a normal situation because he's always playing a part, which he does really well. The next character is Kirame Pink, Sayo Ohura.
who's the doctor.
I know.
But not the doctor.
Not the doctor, but she's in a band called The Doctress.
Yeah, she's
A drummer.
a doctor who's in a band who is also, what you call it?
But she'd be in a great band with Capaldi's doctor because she plays the drum, he plays the electric guitar. Then we have Troughton's doctor who plays the recorder. You could have like a whole pseudo, not the greatest band, but you could have a whole pseudo band of the three doctors. That would be awesome. But she is, for being the doctor, she is almost like that idiot savant. She's incredible. incredibly intelligent. But, like, the one episode where she regresses back to a child in a way.
Which might be right now my least favorite episode of the show.
It really shows that she's really good at what she knows, but she became so, almost like a Doogie Howser type doctor so young, that I don't think she really got to emotionally evolve like she got to mentally evolve. So I think this being in part of this team with the rest of the Kiramagers is actually good for her. Because she's building that relationship with Kirame Silver, who's in a very similar situation because he's like a fish out of water. Kirame Silver is Takemichi Crystalia,
who is the brother of their mentor.
Murio Hakataminami. Don't say that 3 times fast.
Hakatamine. Hakatamine. Hakatamine.
Oh,
Minami. Well,
Hakataminami.
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 It's like Metsugo Jinrai.
Yes. Hakataminami.
So Murio Hakataminami, he is so Takemichi is the elder brother to Murio. I am just gonna get.
But yeah, I like the concept that he got poisoned, so they had to bring him to the planet Crystalia, and he became very aged, or is aging very slowly.
So okay, let me explain this better.
I apparently can't speak proper words today.
So this is like, I would say, soap opera levels of weird. So Takemichi, when he was about 15, was hanging out with his dad and King Oridon, because apparently his dad and the king like to go fishing together. Basically, he has 2 dads because Oridon is his father now too. That's where it goes into the level of like soap opera. So he gets poisoned by this evil crystal. He would die if he stayed on Earth. So they go out to Crystalia. Mabushina is like very, very little, so she looks to him like a brother. He is adopted by the family. He is now the prince of Crystalia, even though he's human. His brother Murio is 2 years younger, but 30 years have gone by. His brother's in his mid-40s. Takemichi is like 17 still. And so he's not only an elder brother to his brother, who looks older than him, he's also the elder brother to the actual future queen of the planet Crystalia. So it's almost like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon for this particular character.
Bacon.
Too salty. But
that's you.
I do like Takemichi. I agree with what you said when we were watching, that he hasn't had a lot of development. But
not since his introductory episodes.
But his love for his family is something I really do appreciate and I find so fascinating. With that said, we have the allies. Murio, who is the brother, he is a scientist. He owns Karat, which makes us think of Geki Ranger.
Oh, because of Scratch.
So Karat is...
I thought it was carrot.
Carrot,
as in
Karat.
carrot, as in...
Oh, it is! Like carrot gold or... Okay, yes, you're right.
You never thought of that?
No. But,
yes, it's carrot because of the diamond. And their secret base is this very inconspicuous giant robotic tree. Palm tree in the middle of the city.
I think it matches the one video we saw of this particular actor singing the pineapple song.
Oh God, remember when they did that joke with him doing, what was it? He was like, I've got a crystal?
Yes. Oh, he did that, and I was like, oh my God, if I hadn't seen that video like in a week before, I think I would be mentally scarred. So he's basically the comedic relief, because you don't really have a ranger who is the comedic relief, which I think you appreciate this time around. So the side character, rather than being extremely serious, is the mentor but comedy relief at the same time. Like the first episode, obviously we have discussed this in a previous video, is when they first meet him, Mabushina headbutts him in the head, not thinking that she's literally made of stone and concusses him. Mabashina is also kind of that mentorish, but I think she's almost the same age.
Well, she's more of the assistant.
But she's also about the same age in my thought process of Juru. So I think that's why they get along so well, because they're almost like similar age, similar mentality, immaturity, and then both having to take on heavy responsibilities without needing to, or without meaning to. It was kind of forced onto them.
And then we have our villains.
Well, first I want to go over the... Oh, wait, you do mech last, don't you?
It goes heroes, villains, mecha, effects and music, and then episodes.
Okay.
Obviously, these are like going to be briefer than those.
So, with villains...
Well, I guess we should also say, so King Orden is technically dead as of right now, but not really, and because...
We don't see a body.
We haven't seen a body.
Comic book logic says if you don't see a body.
And being that the mother is still alive, it's only apparent that the father is going to be alive.
Which we'll talk about the mother, because one of the episodes I want to mention is about her. So, the villains. I feel
our villains are Cruellica, who sounds like a cereal box monster, and Garza. Those are our villains right now. Which is kind of sad because it's 24 episodes and that's all we have.
Well, we also have Numajo, the witch Numajo.
Only for the...
And her sister Minjo.
Yeah, but they're not main villains. They were just for those episodes.
Well, they have them categorized here as generals.
Well, that's because she was a general, but she was only for that two-parter.
But, once again, we don't actually see, like, a body dead. I actually think... so, Cruellica, I love him. He is so flamboyant and ridiculous.
Like his game when he's like, okay, I'm doing this game that if I turn around, you can't move.
Yes, red light, green light.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Well, yeah, I played it as a kid.
I never did.
That's because you had a very terrible childhood. And I come from the terrible family. Nevertheless, Cruellica or Tarantula is actually a lot of fun. He's immature. He's what you want in a villain. He's engaged. He is silly enough to make it work. He kind of reminds me of that main villain for Die Ranger who had the high-pitched voice.
Which?
The one that was near the end of the series that would sit on that like box, cross-legged.
You mean the Gorma Emperor?
Yeah. I am not saying he's at that level, but he was silly to me. The Gorma Emperor was silly, especially the high-pitched voice, and that's kind of how I take it for Cruellica. Garza is the other villain.
Who is the badass villain, who has done way more in this series in 24 episodes than everyone from the last 5 series has done combined.
And this is where the soap opera continues. So he's King Oriden's brother. He's also Mabashina's uncle and Takamichi's adopted uncle.
And then after he got Takamichi to go away to go on this quest.
Yes, he convinces Takamichi to go on this quest to save his sister because his sister has been cursed and she's going to die. So he convinces them in soap opera logic. If you've ever heard Day of Our Lives, if you haven't, ask your mom. She's probably watched it. And goes on this whole quest. Because he goes on this quest, Garza then decides, hey, the main guy who can help protect the planet is gone. I'm gonna...
No, that's not what he decided. He already was going to do that, but he got rid of him so they could invade.
Well, yes, because Takamichi would have helped fight.
Right, but it wasn't he decided to do it after
he used that as a catalyst to eventually do it. So, it's a very soap opera-ish.
I did like, though, when Juru takes over Garza's mech.
Oh, for the first time, and Garza's like...
Garza's pissed, and Garza says, this will never happen again, and when Juru says, no, I'll take this over whenever I want.
Well, it once again proves that Juru is like a kid. It's like, no, I'm entitled. Even though we hate the entitlement sometimes it's funny. So we have a whole ton of monsters of the week.
Which I do like so I like for the monster of the week to call back to Go Ranger with the simplistic designs and the different heads.
Well, I really appreciate the monsters of the week because if you look here, on the site, it has it listed by black body, red body, gold, and silver. So they're all based on different types of gems. So a black body is going to be like your opal, your darker gems. Red could be like ruby, gold,
Okay,
obviously.
so my favorites, which I'll get into more later, was the reset button mon.
I like the safe one too.
What was the other one I really liked? Well, I liked the speaker one from this past episode.
I like
Steam
the glue.
Locomotive. Steam Locomotive was freaking awesome.
Whack-a-mole.
And Joystick. The Joystick one was awesome.
And then you have the Dark Beasts, which have also very similar.
I have to say, I'm not as big of a fan as the Dark Beasts. Because obviously they're just mindless creatures that come up to have a mech battle.
But I'm sorry. For the Mindless Beast one, you have to give it up for the video game one. And then this most recent one that we watched, the Jukebox one. Especially because it made me cry because I got a Spider-Man moment of feeling like, wow, am I really
when
that
Juru
old?
says, "What's a jukebox?"
Yes, because all I wanted to play is Jukebox Hero.
Well, there was one monster. Oh, was it it was the reset button Dark Beast.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a reset button one.
Well, some of these have Japanese names, so I'm not entirely sure. I did like the motorboat boss.
Oh, Hesha button. That might be it.
Okay.
Yeah, episode 11. But yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, I guess they're mecha. They're mecha.
Oh, well, yeah. So the next one is the Mecha. Wow, it sounds like we're going to Jerusalem. The Mecha. Because Mecha, M-E-C-C.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This is why you probably will never let me host this again.
Come on.
Okay.
Talk about the mecha.
So the Mecha, we have. The problem is I don't know all their names.
You don't need to know their names. It's a helicopter, a scoop, a race
it's
car.
actually called an excavator.
A scoop.
Excavator. So you have a fire truck, an excavator, a race car, a helicopter,
and a jet.
And then Takamichi's is a drill.
A truck with drills on it. Yes.
And then you have 2 trains. You have some other construction equipment.
That are like the auxiliary mechs that can form a sword and a fork.
I know. So if they're hungry, they're.
Or you have a vacuum, which I was waiting for them to do. Suck, 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 blow, blow, blow.
Now, admittedly, I was a little apprehensive at the beginning of the series when all the mechs were talking.
But they've done a good job with keeping it toned down.
But the mechs are also trolls. So the yellow mech, Shoveler. I remember him because that was just so funny. Shoveler is pro Tametomo. Tametomo is the best person in his mind. To the point where he even goes, Viva la Revolution, trying to oust Juru as the leader of the group to make Tametomo, who has absolutely no interest in being the leader, to be the leader. Then Senna's mech, which sadly I can't remember his name, he is in love with Senna.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not passionate love, but just like admiration type love.
Then you have the pink mech that keeps saying, "I'll punish you," like it's Sailor Moon.
Oh, basically, yeah. She's basically Sailor Moon. Even if she doesn't have the Sailor Moon voice. Shigeru's mech is basically, I think it's like Jetter or Jetto, but he is basically like a fanboy.
Yep.
He is the perfect fanboy. And then Fire, I just remember that because of the red for the fire truck. He is almost like the cool uncle. But I would say of the mechs, it would go Shoveler first, because when he did that Viva La Revolution in episode 3, I think it was early in the series.
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been episode.
It was very early in the series.
Because three was with. Yeah, whatever.
But it was very early in the series, and it was just 3 was the blue episode because of advice.
That was the one where we need some advice.
Oh, it was the Neanderthal Jamin. That's when it came in, episode 4.
Yes, okay.
So it was a hilarious thing because he's like, I want him to take over, and if that means I have to have my own mech crew, we're going to. So I personally really enjoyed it because you have usually the mechs are like so sprightly and upbeat, and yes, you have some that are like that, but you have such a variety, they actually help push the story along versus just holding everything back. Alright, since we don't have effects and music really, because you want footage for that.
Well, we can, like, what? Okay, so we've had
effects and music.
Well, I have like some of the camera work in the show. Like the camera work we had in the battle, one of the episodes we watched last night, when Juru was fighting the witch.
Yes.
And they were having the camera go underneath their battle as they were
Well,
fighting.
kind of remind me of that one Kiramager movie that you love. Where Azumi. Because it almost felt like that, where the camera was like on a pedestal rolling around them.
That, and then when it would go under and have them fighting under, like what they did in that Ultraman Z episode, I feel like Ultraman has now influenced the camera work for Toei because they've got competition now.
Well, they've stepped up their game with
the miniatures.
The miniatures, I would say, with the costume designs, as well as the camera work, because they really try to engage the audience. And that's one of the reasons why I like having a separate monster from a separate giant monster. And because it doesn't feel like, oh, we have to defeat him, and then the story is just going to go nowhere.
But yeah, the camera work has been really impressive. Some of the CGI has been normal, bad CGI.
Well, that's Tokusatsu.
At least they don't have sparkle filters on every screenshot.
Oh my! I actually do like some of the sparkle filters they use because it makes sense.
But it's not excessive.
No, it's like the in-sparkleization.
The music's been cool too. I've had no problem with the music, especially one episode where they had the goth girl singing like that really dark industrial metal song.
Oh my god! Why does rock always have to be looked at as?
But it's like what? But I want to hear the rest of the song. Where's the rest of the song?
It's probably on the soundtrack somewhere. Or
that's all they have for it. It was just that short.
So.
And then. So we've had a couple ending themes.
Well, we've had the main ending theme. And then what they're doing now, which they haven't done a little bit, is they're having the main Rangers sing, or not the main Rangers, but the cast sing songs.
But you had a song with Mabushina that she did in her episode, and then a song from this episode with the Rangers playing as a band.
Which, I love music episodes, so I was down with it. But I like how music is taking precedence in this, because even one of the villains, Garza, has an electric guitar that he's used a couple of times in the series, and I love it because it's like, okay, music appreciation.
I did like in the last episode when Garza's still playing and Crunchula's like, I'm not going to tell him that his signal was cut off a long time ago.
Oh no, he was like so into it.
Just quietly send out the Dark Beast and get on my way.
And he's whispering and he's like, jukebox, Jamin, go. And he's like so quiet about it. I'm like, this is why I like the villains. Because you need villains that are aware of what they are. So, favorite episodes.
Well,
oh, yeah. The episodes. Once again, I don't think you're going to allow me to do this.
Well, I will say right now, the only problem I've had is there hasn't been... So, in 24 episodes, we've had maybe, 7 episodes total of continuous plot?
You mentioned something to me earlier that made me have a response to that. You had said that the writer for this series wrote Deca Ranger.
Deca Ranger and Abba Ranger.
So, Abba Ranger, yes, that was very plot heavy. Deca Ranger, on the other hand, was very character heavy, not plot heavy.
Right.
So I'm wondering, obviously we still have half a series left, but I'm wondering if this is kind of going to be like Deca Ranger in a way, where it's going to be very character heavy for both the heroes and the villains. Because right now, I feel like, compared to Rio Soldier, compared to Kyoger, and a few other recent series, we are getting like thrown character development episode after episode after episode. Like, I know so much about all the characters and the villains, I actually feel like I could walk away and be able to have like an entire theory on what's going to happen with the characters. Because there's been so much development. I think the only character of the main Ranger team, of the core 5, not Takamichi,
That's had the least development?
that's had the least development is Senna.
I'd say it's Blue.
I think he's had I think they're both neck and neck, and they've still had a lot of development. You can't walk away and still not think they've had development, because they've had an incredible amount of development,
I would
but
say,
you want to
though,
know
the least
more.
developed character in the show, though, is Cruellica.
Yes, but my hope is for future that he's going to get something.
Get a big arc.
He's going to get an arc of some sort. Even if it's a 2-episode arc, something to give him a little bit
Speaking
more.
of which, that was the other thing I will say. My other negative towards the show is I hope they're not done with the curse stuff. Because to me, having the curse already done is like, oh, okay, that was underwhelming.
So, first and foremost, my favorite episode of the season, or should we just talk about some of the episodes and then go to favorites?
Well, just go favorites first. I mean,
Okay. My favorite episode of the season, I'm going to steal from you because it's your favorite at the same time, so we'll be able to both talk about it, is the reset button monster. So it's basically Happy Death Day or Groundhog Day, whichever movie you've seen.
oh my god. Yes, this episode was amazing because they're fighting a monster who can reset time. And Tame ends up realizing that this is happening over and over.
Because it's happening to him at the same time.
And he's trying to stop it. And then we have the reset button monster. After a while, is like, you know what? I give up. Just kill me now.
Well, because Tame, when they're fighting the monster initially, he hits the monster, so anytime time is reset,
He knows it.
he knows it because his time is reset just like the monster's. And he's in the middle of a tournament where he basically,
Wins over and over.
he wins over and over, but you come across where he is, like Kaiju, I think this is why you like him, a very sore winner. He's not the best winner in the world, at least at the start. And then as he goes along, because he sees the effects through Groundhog's Day of what his attitude is doing to his competitor, who is so much different. If you've ever seen All Around the Host Club, he's basically Neko, the Neko-san.
He's like the dude from IT Crowd.
Yes, Moss from IT Crowd. Yes.
No. The goth dude, because he had the fingernails all painted in.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
I'm gonna put a curse on you now.
I think of Moss, but no, you're right. So, anyways, it's funny watching this because at first I said Groundhog's Day because I've seen that movie so many times. Bill Murray is great. He's never seen the movie because he's a heathen, so I had to go with another movie that at least made sense.
Well, there's Happy Death Day, or there was the Legends of Tomorrow episode that did it.
I prefer Happy Death Day.
But, yeah, so it's a pretty hilarious episode. Best episode of the series. Another one I liked was the one I talked about with the fangirl for...
Music Jamin.
Yeah, where she has her own internet.
So what happens here is the ultimate fan for Shiguru. She's kind of nerdy. I think she's awesome. She's basically a gothic Lolita. And she writes Shiguru like fan letters all the time. Like when we saw one time where in this episode, he pulls out like boxes of fan letters from her alone. But nevertheless, she gets caught up with the music monster, and they team up where she has this internet channel, and she is singing this goth song that everyone in the world, essentially according to Japan, loves. And she was going to do this whole concert, and she was doing it for two reasons. One, because she wanted to be as popular as Shiguru, so he would like her. And two, because she wanted to feed her own ego.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a metal/industrial song where it's basically like baby metal in a way. You don't know this, others might. They're a metal industrial band, and they have in Japan, and they have most of their band members for their core singers, because there's 3. The oldest is 20. Great music. I should make you listen to it at some point. But I kind of thought of baby metal when listening to this.
Okay. And then, what was another one?
One for me was recently the Safe Monster. So this is where we get into Maba Yune, who is Mabashina's mother, the queen. So when she is about to die from the curse that's affecting Mabashina, she puts her soul into a crystal that was in her crown. So basically, she was sleeping for a long period of time since she died, and the only reason they even knew her soul was in the crystal is Muryu had tested it. And so she wakes up, and apparently she is very delicate, even though she's super strong, which makes me laugh because I think of so many anime characters when you say super strong character, very delicate. Nevertheless, all of the Rangers and Muryo and Mabashina all collaborate to say Crustalia is not destroyed, Oridon's not dead, because they all think he is, and everything is alright, and they're just doing a play where the main actor is Tame, even though Shiguru wanted to be it. He's actually playing the fool, which he stays in character for the entire episode. And they're fighting a safe monster. And so the episode
You could say, till we played that episode, safe.
So they're all acting in various types of characters, putting on a show for Mabiyune that the monster has no idea they're putting on the show for. The monster is not clued in, which makes sense, but all the characters are trying to play fight him, not acting real. And then closer to the end of the episode, Mabashina gets on there and starts singing a really catchy popish song that distracts the monster, and then everybody fights. And then at the end of the episode, Mabayune is like, so I'm assuming that Crustalia is destroyed since we're here on Earth. And everybody, if you could see them all like face plant like in an anime episode, you would, because they're like, Wait, you knew? And Shigeru is still in character when he's doing all of this, too. Because he actually does faceplant in a way.
Well, I didn't like the episode as much as you did. I felt it should have been a bit more serious.
That's because you suck at having
it was a serious content. It should have been played much more seriously. Because the series itself does a really good job at balancing comedy and seriousness. But this episode felt like it was too serious, so they went with too much comedy for me.
No, that's fair. What's another one of your favorite episodes? The Freezer and Oven Brothers?
I'm trying to remember. That one I did like. I'm trying to think of the one. Well, the joystick monster one I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
My least favorite episode.
Or you got the fishing rod one, where they go through time.
Yeah, I didn't. My least favorite episode though is the one where Sayo gets turned back in the mindset of a child. That was my least favorite episode of the series so far. I love the one where where Juru took the Garza's train over, which I think was episode 8.
I think so, yes.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that mecha. Yeah, Garza has a train mech that can transform into a motherfucking T-Rex. Brum, brum.
It's really cool. It's purple and
black and red, and it's sparkly clean.
Well, all of them are sparkly.
I did like.
Well, because you first see his mech during the freezer oven episodes with the brothers.
No, that was well after.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because that was episode 8 when you first see his mech. The freezer.
Yeah, those were Oven and Freezer Brothers.
They were not episode 8.
7 and 8. Oven was 8.
Really? Was it?
Yes.
That? Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was that far back.
I have receipts.
Quiet, you.
Do you have receipts? No, I do. Booyah. I love him. Don't pinch me. We're on camera.
So? Alright. But anyway, those would be my favorite episodes. The joystick one, the music one from early on, and the reset button one. And then the two-parter we just had where they're collecting the Infinity Stone and...
It's easier to say Infinity Stone.
And we had, or the, oh god, what do they call them in the Shin Megami series? The Tamas? The jewels? Never mind. Okay, but, yeah, the Infinity Stones, when they collect that and they have to go back in time and fight the witch, and the witch's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like those episodes too.
Well, I thought overall, I haven't really had a least favorite episode that I didn't enjoy. I've really enjoyed all of the episodes because they all gave me something different and they were all fun. I know you'll disagree, but I kind of feel as though when they were trying to take themselves seriously for an episode, they did. And when they were trying not to take themselves seriously and have fun with it, they did. In my opinion, there's always been a good balance in the episodes.
Like, the Glue episode did a good job balancing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I felt like the whole aspect with the mother should have been taken in a much more serious route. Because the whole thing was, we gotta keep her happy, otherwise she's gonna shatter herself.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but I still enjoyed the episode for what it was. It's similar to why I enjoyed the red light, green light episode.
Well, I was just going to say, I did like that one too with Cruellica, especially when Mabashina gets stuck in there.
And she's the one who essentially wins the game, because everybody else gets kicked out.
So, overall right now, Kiramager's been a really good series. I've been enjoying it. It's not anywhere near the best Sentai series ever, but compared to what we've had over the last 8, 9, 10 years, 8 years, 9 years, it's been quite good. It's the best post-Gokaiger show, and it's the first post-Gokaiger show that by episode 24, I have not hated.
I want to go with one other category that you never do because you were lame.
What?
The gimmick.
Well, we've got probably 10 minutes left to do this, so we need to get this done quickly.
Okay, so I just want to talk about the gimmick real quick, because the gimmick is, it kind of reminds me of Shikinger in a way, with having the changer on their wrists, and then having like the wheel where you have to spin it.
That wasn't Shikinger. Shikinger was the...
Well, no, I meant with the wheel, because like with Shiken Red, when he had to do his sword or any move, they had to still move that.
Oh, the wheel on the weapon.
Yes, it kind of reminds me of that. I know it's very different because they were doing kanji for their transformations, but I just mean having that wheel there, having that turn to either transform, because you have the buttons at the same time. It's an interactive mech, or interactive henshin device, which I really do enjoy, because they all have a purpose.
Oh,
and I really like that. And I also like the weapons that they have. They really haven't gotten any special auxiliary weapons, but that seems to have gone the way of the dodo, with Rangers getting like special, like, thinking of like Jew Ranger, where they have the like the archery set and things like that. You have a sword and a gun.
Oh yeah, they don't have their own individual weapons in this series.
That I will say is a
one
little
other thing I
disappointing.
forgot to say, because we didn't talk about when the mechs combined. One thing I do like about the mechs when the mechs combine is that it doesn't look like they're trying to kill the suit actors, because they're actually mechs that can move.
Well, even when they put on the extra mechs,
They can move.
they can still move. It's still maneuverable. But I really do like the gimmick, because at first I was scared it was going to be so simplistic, it was going to be stupid. But it actually is so simplistic, it's smart. And that's something we haven't had in a long time. We've either had really simplistic that, oh my god, this is so stupid.
Could also be why Kiramager has the worst toy sales.
Well, and this is my frustration with tokusatsu in general. Actually, this is my frustration with all children's television in general. Is I understand they get revenue from toy sales, just like they get it from advertisers and from how many people watch the show as it airs. But it cannot be solely based on toy sales. I think that's a foolish endeavor, because that's the same problem we have with Thundercats in the US.
And Symbiotic Titan and Young Justice.
Is they base it solely on toy sales, but if you think about it for currently right now, we're in a pandemic worldwide. People are making sure they have enough money to buy food and clothing and pay their bills. What's the one thing that they're not going to go out and spend their money on, unless you are Kaiji Okami, who wants 3 Sentinels that he can't get for a year? You're going to spend it on the necessities, and you're not going to buy fun things because you just don't have the extra money. And this is why I really think they need to start opening up Sentai and the rest of Tokusatsu to the United States. Because if they really want to expand and possibly enhance their shows, they need to add it to a new market, which are going to be down with buying stuff. If I could buy this henshin device without having to go through a third-party middleman to make sure I don't get taxed to high hell, even though I will get like charged to high hell, I would do so. But overall, before I go on to my rant of why Tokusatsu frustrates me and Toei needs to come to us,
we don't have time for you to go. We don't have time for you to do that rant. You'll have to do that another time.
I do have to say, Kiramager is an incredible ride. I'm really enjoying it because it's actually taking me back to older Sentai series.
Well, mid-2000s Sentai.
Well, they're still older. It's like 15 years ago now, dude.
Yeah, so?
It's older. But nevertheless, it's one of the reasons why I liked Hurricaneger. It's one of the reasons I like Geki Ranger and Aba Ranger. Haven't watched all of Deca Ranger yet, which I have to fix. But it reminds me of those series. And so I appreciate it and am looking forward to more. There's hopes I have. There's fears I have. But unfortunately, that's a risk that you take every time you watch anything Tokusatsu. Is you have high hopes and fears that they're all going to get dashed to hell.
Especially with the trend Sentai has pulled.
Yes, but because this particular showrunner has written incredible series, even though you hate the CGI for Abba Ranger, it's been great. And I'm hoping that with the legacy that he has created with Abba Ranger and Deca Ranger,
And Akiba Ranger.
and Akiba Ranger, which once again shows that he's a fanboy, that we should hopefully have some more great episodes coming our way.
Yep, I hope so. Don't mess it up, Toei. Don't screw it up at this point.
No, if
You're halfway there. Keep it going.
That's exactly it. Stay healthy, stay good, and Toei, stay good to us too. We deserve it. We're watching your stuff. Even though Saber sucks, let us still have Kiramager. I was about to say Kiba Ranger. I have no idea, but let's still have Kiramager, even if we can't have Saber, because we need one or the other, Toei. We need one or the other.
Alright, that's all we've got. So until next time, bye.
Yes! Watch me again as I try to do